Tyrese Maxey. So Maxey was one where like originally I think I had him too low.
Okay.
And then I went back and like kind of adjusted after I went and like watched all of the playoff games that he played.
Because he was pretty good.
Yeah. So Tyrese Maxey in the playoffs last year, 29.8 points, 6.8 assists, and shot 48, 40, 89. That's ridiculous. That's like impossibly good. And that was, dealing with a injured Joel Embiid at times, right? I think the thing that has gone most underrated about Maxey, the scoring is unbelievable. It's been unbelievable basically since year 3 for him. The passing is improving. He's taking genuine strides as a lead guard in terms of being able to run an offense. Nobody's ever going to confuse him for a Tyrese Halliburton in terms of like driving and dishing and making plays and like getting everybody in the flow of everything like that. Right. Nobody's ever going to, confuse those two. But Maxey's ability to score the basketball and blend the passing with the scoring at just a slightly better rate than what it was previously has opened things up in an enormous way for him. It makes it so that guys can't really just like blindly help off of their guys on his drives anymore. He's going to find kickouts. He's going to find open players. Has the elite speed, but he has the elite touch at the speed and has the ability to decelerate. He is a dangerous, dangerous scorer. In the playoffs, I was kind of trying to think about it this way. I don't know if I would rather have him or Halliburton in the playoffs. It's genuinely close to me. Because his scoring ability, I think he's a slightly better defender than what Halliburton is.
Yeah.
And he can just go get you a bucket in a sick way. It's hard. So Maxey is a sick player.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, like like these guys are going to end up back to back. So the hard thing with Hallie is, without getting too much in it, like we just didn't. I don't think either of us believe we saw him at full strength towards the end of last year and into the playoffs, and that's why I'm struggling with him right now. Because start of the year, Hallie was unbelievable, but yeah, Maxey's speed is ridiculous. And then you had it there. Then the ability to hit the floater along with that. Yep. And when I went back and looked at things, his passing was good. And when he's better with the target of his passes, he's going to be even better. There were a lot where he's making the right read, he's making the right decision, and they're just off target. Maybe that never gets better because he does play so fast, but it can be something he works on. And then you mentioned the deceleration. He has the step back three. Like, he just has a full package of what he can do. You read off his playoff stats, and rightfully so. Sam, he also averaged 26 on 45, 37, 87 in the regular season. So you talk about taking a jump. He went from 15 field goal attempts 2 years ago to over 20 this last year. He upped his 3-point attempts by 2. He almost got 2.5 times his assists. His rebounds went up. Like, all of this got better. You know what the other thing is? You know how many turnovers he averaged? Less than 2. So he's doing all of this while not turning the ball over. Now, that number did jump a little bit in the playoffs, but my thing with Maxey was, I don't know, like, people would probably yell at me, like, you just said J-Dub's going to be the third guy on the Thunder, and what, isn't Maxey going to be the third guy on the Sixers? Maybe, but I think he's going to drive the offense a lot of games still, especially games where those guys sit in the regular season.
Totally.
And then he may usher in the new era of the Sixers after Paul George and Joel Embiid. And I think that's why I gave him a little bit of a notch over a guy like Jalen Williams. Was I just see him being the face of a franchise, getting that opportunity a little bit easier than maybe some other guys.
The more and more that I thought about Maxey, the more I thought we might have him too low.
By
the
one?
more I thought, honestly, maybe by a few. For him to be this good already, where he is this dominant, it like kind of getting to his shot relatively efficiently, and being able to show it in the playoffs. Like, by the way, that wasn't just like a one playoff run kind of thing for Maxey. Like,
I got him. You want me to read them or you got them?
yeah, no, I have them.
Okay.
So in 2022-23, they played 11 games. He averaged 20 points, 2.3 assists versus only 0.7 turnovers, shot 43, 40, 90. And then in 2022, averaged 20.8 points and shot 48, 38, 94, and averaged 4 assists versus 1.8 turnovers. We have a 3 playoff run sample now of Maxey where he's not just good, he is like unbelievably good
Here
in
are
the
the numbers.
playoffs and very clearly raises his game.
22.6 points on 46, 39, which is over 7 attempts from 3, 92% from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 turnovers. That's 29 games and 40 minutes per game in those 29 games.
Yeah.
We might have him too low. We might have him too low.
He is a truly special offensive player, just like a truly, truly special offensive player. Defensively, look, I feel okay with him on ones. I feel okay with him on twos. I do think that if he gets switched on to bigger players, it is a bit of a problem for him from time to time. But man, every time I watch Tyrese Maxey, he hasn't stopped getting better since entering the NBA, which if you know anything about his track record entering the league, coming from that RM5 program, AAU program down in Texas to Kentucky to what he is now in the NBA. Like, he's just always kind of continued to get better and better and better every single time he plays. Yeah, it is hard. It's hard to devalue him, and it's hard to really underrate and understate what he's been able to accomplish to this point.
I want to throw out a quick caveat as well, because I know people like, oh, how can you have this person? These guys were all in a very similar tier for me. So I know it's going to sound like, oh, J-Dub was at 9, and then whoever we have at 3 is at 3. And like, oh, how can you have 6 space? Like, they're in the same tier, and then you rank them within a tier. We're not giving our tiers on this, but sometimes that can be the problem with rankings also. It's like, how can you have Maxey at 8? Well, he's in the same tier of all the guys up to number 3. And at very least one guy is in his own tier up there. And I don't know, I'll be interested to have that conversation with you if number 2 is in the same tier with him or not. But it's like, there's not that much of a gap. We can debate and have opinions, obviously, on these things, but it's not egregious whenever you have guys in the same tier. And I just wanted to point that out, that these guys from 9 to 3 were all in this very same tier for me. It just kind of gets into preference of how you rank them within that tier. So I wanted to throw that out also.